Hello YouTube, this is Orca DB for Team Alpha Omega, doing a deck profile on what I call my Solid Snakes, a Solidarity Reptilianne build. And here we go. First, we've got 3 Reptilianne Naga. This little lady is pretty important to the strategy of the deck, reduces your opponent's monster's attack to 0 at the end of the battle phase if they've battled with her. She is not destroyed by battles, so she just sits there and is a good wall. Only disadvantage is during the end of your turn she's switched to attack mode, so you'll want to use her as tribute fodder or something to get rid of her quickly afterward, unless you want to have your opponent ramming her over and over again. Next we have 3 Reptilianne Gardna. This turtle is the recruiter for the deck and has a couple of good strategies to go with her that I will show you later. 2 Reptilianne Gorgon. When she attacks an opponent's monster, it's reduced to 0 attack immediately. Unlike Naga, you don't have to wait till the end of the battle phase. So she works really well with damage equals reptile, because I can summon another monster and take out my opponent's biggest monsters without any worries. 2 Reptilianne Scylla. With all of my reducing opponent's monsters to 0, it's really easy to use this lady's effect. She special summons any monster with 0 attack that I destroy to my side of the field in defense mode. She's pretty much the Reptilianne Goyo. Only difference is she negates the effects of the monsters she steals. Reptilianne Vesky is the god card of the deck. She is a Nomi monster, which means she can't be stolen from my graveyard. She can only be special summoned by tributing 2 0 attack point monsters from anywhere on the field. That means after I've reduced my opponent's monsters to 0, I can steal them. And I went on 1 Reptilianne Medusa. She's a 2200 attack with Solidarity that puts her at a solid 3000. And she has an effect that I can get rid of any dead draw cards in my hand to reduce my opponent's monsters to 0 attack, and they can't change their paddle position, so they're stuck in whatever position they were when I activated the effect. Real useful. Next, Solidarity. I very recently added this guy. He's pretty fun to combo with Gorgon and damage equals reptile. He's got 2000 attack. As long as your opponent controls any spell or trap cards, they can't select him as an attack target, and he does piercing damage. 2 Solidarity. This guy is another recruiter for the deck. As long as he's in attack mode, my opponent can only select him as an attack target. And when he's destroyed, I add a reptile with 500 or less attack from my deck to my hand, so that's usually Naga or Gardna. Phenomenon is really nice in this deck because with all the recruiting that goes on, I quickly fill up my graveyard with reptiles. And so he gets his attack really fast, really high. And with Solidarity, he gets an extra 800 boost. And Battle Fader is the only non-reptile I use, but it's okay because he never hits the graveyard. I can just use him as stall if my opponent is getting too quick for me, end their battle phase, and he's removed from the field removed from play when removed from the field. 3 Viper's Rebirth. It's a must-have in any reptile deck because it's a monster reborn for the turn. I can special summon my Reptilianne Gardna back, and during the end phase when it's destroyed by this card effect, I get a free search out of it, basically turning this into a Rhoda for reptiles. 2 Reptilianne Spawn gives me free tokens that I can use to tribute summon any of my higher level monsters. I can use them for Reptilianne Vesky's special summon, and if I really have to, I can use them for stall. 2 Solidarity. This is what makes all of my monsters beat sticks. I can have my Vesky at 3400 attack, and pretty much means she'll go over almost anything. I don't have to worry about my weaker monsters dying as easily, puts my Reptilian Gorgon at 2200. It's a really nice card since all of my monsters in the grave will always be the same type. Allure of Darkness, since all but one of the Reptilians are dark, and I've also got Phenomenon and Battle Fader, which are dark attribute, this is wonderful draw power for the deck. Book of Moon, really sad that this got limited, but since it did, I'm only able to run one. This is such a versatile card, it should be in every deck. Creature Swap, besides the regular stealing my opponent's big beat sticks, this is an awesome card to use in combo with my Reptilian Gorgon, or my Reptilian Gardna, sorry, because I can give my opponent my Gardna in attack mode, smash it, get a free recruit off of it, and be able to special summon it back if I use Scylla to kill it, which means I can get my recruitment off twice in one turn. Fires of Doomsday, it's a nice quick play spell that gives me free tokens that I can use for Vasky fodder or for stall. Pretty much a mini scapegoat, and I can tribute these to normal summon any dark monster, so it's also good for Reptilian Medusa and for Phenomenon King of Poisonous Snakes. Foolish Burial. If I've got a Viper's Rebirth in hand but don't have a target in my graveyard, this easily supplies it. It gives my Phenomenon an extra 500 attack when I use it. An all-around good card for this deck. Mystical Space Typhoon, pretty self-explanatory, just a staple. Pot of Avarice, since I recruit a lot, I end up with a bunch of cards in my graveyard, so this is a really good draw power for my deck, and it resets all my recruiter engines, meaning I can just keep going. Next to the trap cards, I have 3 offerings to the Snake Deity. This is Icarus attacks for reptiles, and in some ways in this deck it's even better than Icarus because it destroys my monster as well instead of having to be tributed. So I can activate my Reptilian Gorgon's search effect while also generating massive card advantage by eliminating 2 cards on my opponent's field. Call of the Haunted, pretty self-explanatory. A lot of good stuff in the graveyard can be brought back with it. Ceasefire, all of my monsters are effect monsters, and since Naga sits on the field for quite a while, I can activate this and do some extra burn damage to my opponent. Really useful. Damage equals Reptile is an awesome card to combo with, say, my Reptilian Gorgon and my Reptilian Naga, because my opponent's monsters will be dropped to 0 attack, and I will be able to just run them over with whatever I bring out. Magic Cylinder. Again, I kind of need stalls sometimes to be able to get my recruiter engine going, so this allows me to stall while doing a bit of extra burn to my opponent and getting myself that much closer to a win. Rivalry of Warlords. Since I'll never have anything other than a reptile on the field except for when I summon Battle Fader, this is a really good tech because it hammers a lot of decks that are main today, and just I can easily side it out if I'm going against someone who also runs all the same type anyway. So that's my deck, and I did say I'd discuss a couple of the combos with this lady, Reptilian Gorgon, one of which I mentioned was Creature Swap. This card is amazing with any recruiter because you can normal summon Reptilian Gardna, who has no attack points, in attack mode. Then I creature swap for my opponent's monster, and I just run it over, and it's pretty much the same as attacking directly, plus I get any one of my Reptilians straight to my hand. She also combos well with offerings to the Snake Deity, since it allows me to destroy her, get her effect off. Her effect does not have to be destroyed by battle like Oshelion, and so that means I get any of my monsters back out of my deck, whereas Solidarity has to be destroyed by battles, so I can't use a couple of those combos with him. Viper's Rebirth, I mentioned a bit. Viper's Rebirth, special summon Reptilian Gorgon back from the graveyard. For the turn, during the end phase, she's destroyed, again triggering her effect. And that's most of how the deck works. And comment, rate, subscribe to Team Alpha Omega and to me. And peace out.